What's so special about Hero Bread's soft, fluffy, and delicious breads, buns, and tortillas? These ultra-low net-carb baked goods contain zero sugar, fewer calories, and more protein than the leading brands, and are high in fiber to support gut health. Shop now at hero.co.
What up? This is Shan. Welcome back to Cozy Moon. This is episode 21. Chill with all the time on the tablets and phones for kids. Alright, that is today's focus. Welcome back for current listeners. Welcome to for new listeners. Welcome. We're just talking about kids, raising kids, surviving our kids, anything to do with kids and parenting. All right, let's go. All right, y'all. Now, my child is 4. Her grandmother bought her a tablet last year May, and she almost made it a year without breaking it. I think she broke it a month before it was a year. And through her response of me saying, "Hey, Anya, I'm going to tell Grandma you broke the tablet," she was like, "So?" I said, "Oh, yes. Okay, we lit. All right, I'm going to keep it in that plastic bag near the trash can. And I have an iPad, and I don't want to see you ever touch my iPad. Ari has an iPad and a Leapfrog tablet. I don't want to see you ever touch her Leapfrog or her tablet." So now she's at my mom's, and my niece, my other niece, she has a tablet, and, she be trying to scam her off the tablet so she can play with it, and I tell her no. So now that I upgraded my phone, I gave her my old Samsung, and she plays with it where she has apps on the phone. Sometimes she goes on YouTube. There's no way for me to delete the YouTube off of there, so I put parental controls on it. But even with that, us as parents or adults, you really have to monitor what these kids be watching on YouTube, because sometimes people have really dirty cartoons or videos through kids' characters, and I don't know how they bypass that on YouTube, but they'll be cussing, or they show a lot of gruesome stuff or things that are really scary that kids shouldn't be looking at on the kids' version of YouTube. So I always watch what she's watching, what type of game she's downloading. When she goes to sleep, I have to take the phone from her. She cries. She gets upset. Because if I don't, she'll stay on the phone till like 2 a.m. playing games and talking to this cat that records what she's saying and just talks back to her. I'm talking about full-blown conversations. They'll be in there for hours until her phone dies, just talking about nonsense. So I take her phone from her and I charge it, and when I'm sitting on the couch watching whatever show I need to watch before I go to sleep, I delete a lot of apps off of there and I clear it out. You know what I'm saying? Because you have to monitor that. And on Sundays, I take the phone from her all day, and she's very upset that she has to pay with regular toys. She's very upset that we have to go over words and write and read books and like activities where we make bead necklaces or we do puzzles or things like that, because all that social media, not really social media, but if your kids are older and go on social media a lot, it's not good for them. It doesn't work their body. It just makes them very stagnant and always scrolling through something instead of like doing something where they actually have to think and like use a muscle. So I try to limit her on the phone. When she goes to her granny's, I'll give her the phone. I left her at my mom's, and she has a phone there, but I tell my mom, like, like you need to take it away from her sometimes so she doesn't have it, because she gets really rowdy when she's on the phone, and I don't like that, and kids need to learn how to communicate verbally with people, and they can only do that if they're talking to people and not sitting quietly liking things or texting things or watching videos all the time. They have to talk, and the only way to improve their talking is by putting the phones away, putting the tablets away, and letting them have real discussions with human beings that are in front of them. When I would go on the train in New York, when I lived in New York, I would count how many people weren't neck down in their phones or had their fingers scrolling through something on the train. That was like my thing. I would count. And I made it a point every day in New York to be aware of my surroundings, 1. 2, make eye contact with somebody. 3, say hello to at least 2 people a day by looking them in the face and saying hello. Because you just never know, and we all have our heads down in our phones and stuff. We don't realize how quick we fall asleep with our phones, how quick we wake up and we're on our phones, or we're playing music on our phones, or we're watching news on our phones, or we're talking on our phones, or we're texting on our phones, or we're uploading pictures on our phones. We have our cards and our banking information on our phones. We have apps and social media where you can get customer service on the phones for companies, where you have to go on social media and have a question on social media in order to get in contact with somebody. These are the things we have to do in 2018. But we all need balance when we do them. Social media and apps and games and the phone, the tablet, it transforms kids into kids who don't want to go outside and play anymore. Kids who don't want to have human-to-human interaction anymore. They just want to sit on objects and things and have a lot of screen time with their eyes and not physically do anything. So you find like a lot of kids are overweight. A lot of kids are very unhealthy. A lot of kids don't know how to do regular kid-like things. When I was younger, we were dying to wake up, brush our teeth, eat breakfast, watch a little bit of TV, and then we get tired of that and we want to go outside and ride bikes. We want to go outside and go to the playground. We want to go outside and play like blindsman's bluff, what we used to call it, where somebody would close their eyes on the playground and try to find people on the playground with their eyes closed. We would play red light, green light outside. We would play what's that other game called? Basically, it was a game when we lived in Laurel, Maryland, and we lived in a complex that was huge, that had buildings where each building had at least, I want to say, 12 apartments in each building. And we would have 2 teams, and we would go building by building with like fake water guns or whatever, and try to find each other and spray each other to get everybody out the game. And we would play it out all day, as long as we were back by 7 p.m. before the lights came on. It was all G. And kids now, they don't play outside. And by all means, I understand that 2018 is a different day, and there's a lot more creeps in this world that are very bold, where they want to kidnap kids, where they want to show their private parts to children at playgrounds and just do very disgusting things when it comes to kids. So right now, I would never allow Anya or Ari to go outside for more than an hour without me seeing them or them coming back in. Just because they're girls, and I always had older brothers who were like outside somewhere, so I always knew if I was gonna go home, I could go here and be safe. Now it's just like a lot of males or women, they just really out of line with what they try with other people's kids, and I'm just not with it. I don't want to chance it, so that's why I'm gonna feel comfortable doing those things. But as parents and caretakers and grandparents and cousins, we all have to make a time limit when it comes to kids using phones and tablets. Parental control, those things like I was saying earlier. No phone at the table when they're eating. No phone in the bathroom. One night, Anya tried to ask me, can she take her phone in the tub with her? I said, girl, no. It's not that serious. Please, no phones after 8 p.m. It's a hard habit to break with them, but they need it. They need the rest. I know if I don't take Anya's phone, she's going to stay up all night. Do projects with your kids. Talk to them. Turn off notifications on your phone so they can have your full attention. There's certain apps that'll help limit your time on certain devices, whether it's a tablet or cell phone. There's an app for iPhone, for iOS, called Moment. There's Screen Time, which is an app. There's Quality Time for Android, which is an app. There's RPact for iOS systems for iPhone. Like, try those with your kids and utilize it, and take that time to really get to know what your kids are into, what they're looking at, what's interesting to them. Plan a trip. Get more insight on what they're doing in school. Figure out what they want to do. Figure out where you have space to encourage them to do something else that's new. Don't use your phone as an alarm. And I do that because my phone can hold different alarms in it for different days. Way better than me changing an actual clock in my room and hoping that the rain that night doesn't knock the power out and I'm late for work. So that is kind of hard for me, being that I don't have another way of someone else waking me up for work at 5 a.m. But what I'm going to do is try to get a regular clock for my room, and then put my phone on Do Not Disturb or put it on airplane mode, being that my kids aren't here. So that's cool. And then just have a backup alarm on my phone. I'm going to try to not primarily use my phone for the alarm and just use it as like a backup alarm. But try those things as far as like the tablets and the phone goes with your kids and see if they work. See what you discover that's new with your kids. And just enjoy the experience, because I feel like communication-wise, kids need to learn how to speak, because Lord knows this music that they're listening to is not helping with these random words that are not really words, that are sounds that these characters, I do not call them artists, I call them characters, are creating in their music. But yeah, that's all I wanted to talk about in this episode. If you have any tips, please share. Leave a voicemail on Anchor. You can hit me on Cozy Womb on Twitter or cozywoom@gmail.com. I'll check the email. Just leave any tips or anything that you do with your kids to help limit their usage of tablets and phones, because the last thing we need is zombies out here. We have enough zombies as adults. Let's not create any more zombies, okay? Please.